Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 117, Align with Your Truth. My name is Lisa Espinosa, and this is the Rise Up and Share Your Medicine podcast. And the focus of my work is helping all of you who are focused on helping others, wellness professionals. I have a lot of clients who are therapists or other coaches who really have this deep prayer to be of service, to help, to share your solutions with the world, your creative solutions, to share your creativity, to share your healing modality, to have great impact on humanity. And you want to do that in a way that is not only sustainable, but actually cultivates a life you love. So, in this podcast, I share a lot of teachings, and usually this is live, but I'm pre recording it because I can't be here live tomorrow. So I thought this would be better than not having it. I'm excited to talk about today's topic, align with your truth. What that means, we hear that a lot. Align with your truth, be in your truth. What is your truth? From my perspective, aligning with your truth means aligning with your soul. Now, for those of you who are new to my work, when I use the word soul, and maybe that's not a word you resonate with, you can replace it. For me, soul is that eternal part of you, right? That part of you that's beyond your personality, beyond your intellect. That is, you might call it your higher self, your true essence, your divine self. It's that part of you that is eternally connected to source, right? So your soul has you, not the other way around. We tend to think of it from the human perspective, like I'm a human and I have a soul. Oh, but it's really, our soul is vast and has us. And so your soul is pristine, there's nothing untrue about your soul, because your soul is eternally connected to source, to God, to the divine, right? Your soul is in the state of receptivity. It's always receiving, receiving, receiving. And so when you align with your soul, you're inevitably aligning with truth. And so in many ways, you already are aligned with truth. But what's really fascinating and interesting and sometimes challenging about our soul is that your soul is constantly guiding you to more truth, more truth, more truth, more truth, right? As I think it was Wayne Dyer who said it, but it might have been somebody else before him. We are a soul having a human experience, and this human experience involves you having an ego structure, an ego that believes that you are separate from source, an ego that believes that the answers are outside of you. And so this journey, the spiritual journey, is all about awakening, remembering the truth that actually everything you're looking for is within you. And when you have a prayer and intention to help others, to be of service, what that means is that you are here to share your soul's medicine with others. That is what would bring you the greatest joy and fulfillment. And your soul's medicine, I describe it as, it's not just your unique gifts. Yes, it's, every human is gifted by their creator, creatrix, with unique gifts. Maybe you're a wonderful listener. Maybe you are a very creative person. Maybe you are someone who can channel, can just really kind of bring forth healing energy. Maybe you're incredibly intuitive and you can help people connect with their intuition. Maybe you have just a wonderful mind for technology and you can create technology that is actually used for helping humanity, right? So there's certain gifts that you were given. So that's one part of the formula. The other part is also your professional training, right? So I have a background in education. I was a middle school teacher for middle school is like 13-year-olds, 12, 13-year-olds for about 10 years. I have certification in, a psychotherapy model called internal family systems and energy work and so on and so on. So there's my professional training. That's part of it. And then it's actually the least important part, by the way. It's not unimportant. It provides a purpose, but it's really what's essential is this next part, which is your transformative experiences. All those experiences you've had in your life, I call them initiations, where, and they're many times challenging, where you were taken from one level of understanding to another level of understanding. But it wasn't an intellectual understanding. So it's not like going to school, right? It's like the schools in our earth school, right? Like it's more that there's an embodied understanding. So if you've gone through a challenging breakup, for example, right? If you lost somebody that was very important to you, and getting through the other side, there was a long process of that. You probably had to learn to have a lot of compassion for yourself. Maybe it involved forgiveness. Maybe it involved cutting energetic cords, releasing stagnation, releasing codependency, right? There was just this whole process. And on the other side, you learned so much. And one of the things that's a common thing on the other side is you felt a lot of compassion for yourself, maybe for the other person as well. And just for other people, for the world, when they experience a loss like that, right? So that's an initiation. That's a transformative experience. So your soul's medicine is a combination of all those things, your gifts that you were gifted, your professional training, and your transformative experiences. And so aligning with your truth, it like I said, means aligning with your soul, aligning with the truth of your soul, aligning with the most pure version of your soul's medicine. Because when we don't have that clarity, when we allow our intellect or your ego structure to pull you away from your soul, yes, you will still share your medicine. Yes, it will still have impact, but it won't have the deeply paradigm shifting impact that it's meant to have. And so in this moment, I want to make it really practical. Like, how do you apply this to your life? The easiest way is to ask yourself, where in your life are you experiencing confusion? Are you experiencing insecurity? Are you experiencing self-judgment? I think I wrote another one. Uncertainty. So confusion, uncertainty, self-judgment, insecurity, those are big indicators of oh, this is showing me where I could be in more alignment with my soul. So for example, I know last episode was all about healing the fear of visibility. And so you might recognize, if we use that as an example, if you're like, well, I want to reach more clients. Excuse me, my throat started acting weird a few hours ago. Let me drink a little water. Let's say you have a goal, maybe you're a therapist. And again, the details don't matter. I'm just using this as an example. So don't get too attached to this. If you're like, well, I'm not a therapist, just make it apply to you. But let's say if you're a therapist and you have this goal of bringing in more clients that you love to work with, right? That you just feel so revitalized and you can help them so much. And you just, after you're done working with them, you just feel rejuvenated. You feel filled up. But you're like, but I'm really confused about how to make that happen. I don't know. Or you feel, you recognize, well, this is an area where I feel confusion or I feel insecurity. Or maybe you feel self-judgment. What's wrong with me? Why can't I bring these people in? So all of that right away indicates, okay, what this means is I'm not aligned with my soul. Why? Because your soul never, ever, 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 ever judges you. Never. So often I'll have students ask me, well, how do I know if it's my soul or not? One really easy way is if there's any judgment, even if it's very subtle, it's not your soul. Even if it's coming from kind of a a very subtle preachy voice in your head, that's not your soul. And so if you're feeling insecure, that's not your soul. That's not, that self-talk is not coming from your soul. And so, and even if you catch yourself, if you're like, well, I'm just confused about how to make that happen. How do I get that result? And this is where you can bring that, like, okay, help this beautiful soul align me with your truth. And this is what you might discover, that actually you have a fear, even though you have the desire to bring in 5 clients. Again, I just made that up, but 5 clients. Underneath that, there is a fear of actually getting the 5 clients. And that's the truth that your soul wants you to recognize. And your soul's not judging you for it. But once you identify that truth, then you can move forward, right? Rather than saying, well, I'm just confused. I just don't know how. The market is bad. Look at all those other therapists. They're better than me. It's like when you're in your soul's truth, when you align with it, then you see the truth. But what that example shows is that sometimes there's one of the biggest blocks to doing that is the fears we have. It's 2 blocks, actually. 2 blocks that we have with aligning with our soul's truth is, one, that we fear our soul's judgment. That we're just like, I don't know if I want to align with my soul because I'm just going to hear how disappointed my soul is in me, or that I'm doing something wrong. And that's a thought error. Even if you did a so-called mistake, your soul would be nothing but loving, would be guiding you forward in a loving, patient, healing way. So the first one is just really you recognizing, is there a part of me that's afraid of being judged by my soul? And then recognizing, but that's just a thought error. Maybe my parents did that to me and I'm projecting that onto my soul, but that's not what my soul would do. And you might need to remind yourself of that over and over and over. And the other reason is what I alluded to before, is that we're actually scared of hearing our soul's truth. Right? We're scared because, and it's a lot of times this is unconscious, because if we know the truth, then it's like, this is the thing with your soul. Your soul knows that you are a free, sovereign being and never believes that the reason you are not reaching your goals or getting the result you want is because there's something outside of you that is the obstacle, even if it appears that way, right? Because your soul knows that your soul is actually stronger. The divine is stronger than any obstacle that might appear on your path. And so inevitably, what your soul's truth is might point out to you, it's like an unconscious fear, an unconscious way that you're blocking yourself, an unconscious way that you're sabotaging yourself. And again, that's great to know. Right? I've shared this example before, but a lot of times, I offer free breakthrough consults. I have a few slots every month. And this is an opportunity to connect with potential clients, right? I take them through this very powerful process, very compassionate process, where I ask questions and help them get clarity on where they are, where they want to be, and what are the obstacles. And often, this doesn't happen as much anymore, maybe because I have much more content now out about this. So like a lot of people come to me after they've seen, my podcast or read my book or things like that. By the way, if you're watching this and you're like, well, I haven't done any of that, but you want to schedule a breakthrough consult, please do so. You do not need to prepare anything to come. But I'm just using this as an example. But often in the past, a lot of times, one of the obstacles that women would bring would be that they just felt that they had just a terrible intuition. They just weren't intuitive. They couldn't connect with their soul. They just couldn't discern what the next step was. They wondered if they just weren't wired that way. But when we really got to the heart of the matter and I really helped them align with their soul, because I truly believe everyone is intuitive. Yes, you can practice it and develop it as a stronger skill, as a stronger tool, a divine technology that it is, but everyone has access to it. And so what I started to recognize is that it wasn't that their intuition was blocked. It was actually that they were afraid of opening their intuition. And that was the truth. So when I could just help them see, you're actually really intuitive. You just have a part that's afraid to hear the intuition. Maybe they would just want to stay there and be like, okay, well, that's it. I don't want to know more. And that's fine, but at least they know the truth. They can stop telling themselves, well, I just don't have good intuition. It's like, oh, it's just that I'm scared. And so that's what aligning with your truth is really letting your soul, better said, bringing to your soul any area, and particularly, obviously it could be any area, but I focus a lot on just any area that's connected to your service, your leadership, the way you help others, you creating the life that you really long for. Bring any of that feels confusing, that feels uncertain, that you feel insecurity about, that you feel self-judgment about. And first of all, step one, recognize, okay, all this means is that I'm not aligning with my soul, because my soul would never make me feel those things. Good news is now I know, so I could bring this to my soul. And so once you identify what that area is, you're going to bring it to your soul. And what do I mean by that? It's one of the things I teach my clients is to really develop a soul connection practice every day, something that's simple, that's effective, that aligns with their life, that is practical and powerful. So you might have something like that already, but for this moment, I'm not going to go too into details of that, but it can be as simple, literally just set the intention, bring your hands to your heart and say, beautiful soul, I recognize that in this area, I'm not aligned with your truth. I feel confused, I feel insecure, I'm judging myself. Fill me with your clarity, fill me with your truth in this area. And then just let yourself receive. And as you let yourself receive, something will shift. Now, for those of you who've been doing this for a long time, maybe you've been a student of mine for years, you might literally hear immediately an answer. Take this step, go do this, go talk to this person. And sometimes, I've said this many times before as well, the answer, right, doesn't make sense, doesn't make logical sense. So let's stick with that example I was giving. Let's say you're like, I want 5 new clients, I'm not getting them. You recognize, okay, clearly I need to align with my soul. And you bring that to your soul, right? Say, beautiful soul, I recognize that in this area, I'm not aligned with your truth. I'm feeling confused, I'm feeling frustrated, I'm feeling insecure. Illuminate me with your truth, illuminate me with your clarity. Now I know at this point, we would love for our soul to give you like step-by-step instructions. And sometimes that happens. But often what you might hear is something that seems unrelated. Maybe you'll hear, go take a walk. Go outside in nature. Or go to your garden. Something that seems unrelated, but you need to trust that, because in taking that step, your soul knows you'll be more receptive to receiving the answer. Or sometimes it's literally in taking that step, some synchronicity will happen that will lead you to the next step. I don't even know. But it's important. I don't want to get too off topic here, but to know that your soul always, always answers. And if you hear nothing, just trust that the answer is in your heart and it will be revealed at exactly the right time. The importance is your intention, is you recognizing where there is untruth, where there's misalignment with your soul, and then bringing that to your soul's asking for the alignment. All right? And so I want to remind you that my next free masterclass is coming. I had to shift the date and I had to shift the time again. I apologize, just my schedule is a little bit crazy this month, but it is Wednesday, February 26th. It's a 2-hour-long masterclass, and it's called How to Help More, Rest Better, and Be of Greater Service. I'm so excited. I'm going to be sharing things I haven't talked about before, really. or specific tools, right? We're going to identify what are the imposters of rest, those things that we do that we think means that we're resting, but we're actually not resting. What does actual rest look like? And why is it essential on this journey of helping more and helping with more impact? And how that helps you be of greater service. And that is a free masterclass. You will have the replay for 7 days. So anyway, I'll put the link to sign up for that in the comments. If you're not on my newsletter, and you want to know more about what I teach and talk about, I would highly recommend you sign up. I share lots of resources there, lives that I do on Instagram, blogs that I write. There was a great one I shared yesterday called Your Soul's Medicine is for You First. That is such an important teaching. And then I just keep you up to date with all the events that are happening. So the link will be in the comments as well. And finally, breakthrough consult. If you want to schedule, if you need private help with this, if you're like, I want to help more people, I want to have more of an impact, I want to grow my business, I want to grow my visibility, but something's in the way and I'm not sure what it is, or maybe you think you're sure what it is, but you want help, I can help you. That's what that consult is for. I will take you through a process to give you clarity on what is the actual obstacle and what is the solution for it. And then, if I feel I can help you more, I will share the details of my coaching programs with you. All right? It was so great to talk to you. I am going to pull an oracle card as a final message about aligning with your truth. And let's see. This is for everyone. Beautiful. Number 6, self-belief. Self-belief is the magic key that opens up a better, more inspired future for me. Look at this. Self-belief. So already your soul is telling you something about how you align with your truth. It's believing in yourself. Now, if you're watching this and you're like, how exactly do you do that? That's a great question. That's actually something I teach my clients, right? Because we hear things like that, believe in yourself, but it's like, well, how do I do that? There is a process. It's like, it's intentional. It's like really learning how to intentionally create your thoughts. But I won't go into that right now. But that was that. And I will see you next week. It might be also a pre-recorded one next week, but you will know. All right. Bye, everyone.